Good evening, Internet. The Real Shroom here. Welcome to part 7 of my pet deck series, where I play my favorite cards and decks in various formats of Magic the Gathering. Tonight we're going to play some Pioneer/Explorer and Arena, and you're getting a 2 for tonight because I'm playing 2 cards that I've tried many times in different formats to get to work. We're going to play some Dreadhorde Jund. What is Dreadhorde Jund? Let's take a look. So the 2 cards we are featuring tonight are Dreadhorde Butcher, which is a 2-mana 1/1 haste that just snowballs out of control if it gets in for attacks. It just continues to accumulate +1/+1 counters each time it hits, and when it dies, it just deals all that damage to most of the time our opponent's face to help us close out games. I just really like the snowbally nature of this card, although it's very fair, you know, one fatal push just takes care of it. The deeper into the game that it goes, the more attacks it gets in, the deadlier it becomes. And the card I'm combining this with in a Jund shell is Rhythm of the Wild, another card I love. Just a 3-mana enchantment that gives all of our stuff Riot. Also makes it so that creature spells we cast can't be countered, which is really nice against control decks. But Riot means that when they enter the battlefield, we can choose to either give them haste or a +1/+1 counter, which, since I love to play, green mid-range and stompy decks, one thing about those big green dorks is they don't have haste. So having an enchantment like this that gives them all haste from the get-go is really nice. And the ability to add extra counters to Dreadhorde Butcher, for instance, which already has haste, having it come in with a free counter on it, which can later be used to turn into damage, is really, really great. So that's why I'm combining these two, just because, not just because I really love these cards, but because they also do synergize quite well. And of course, with Rhythm of the Wild, you want to play a good array of good threats, which we are in our Jund colors. We got some Bonecrusher Giants. We've got Garruk's Harbinger is sort of like the engine of this deck. It's a 4/3 creature that is hard to remove because it's hexproof from black. And when it does damage to an opponent, we get to look at that many cards from the top of our library, reveal a Garruk Planeswalker or a creature from among them, and put it into our hand. So this is card draw that keeps the threats flowing into our hand, that allows us to continue pressing the attack. Playing some Steel Leaf Champions. I love this cycle of creatures from Dominaria. Triple 1 color for good value, and this is definitely one of the best. It's huge body for 3 mana and is evasive against weenies, so that's also very helpful as well. Glissa Sunslayer is just a solid mid-range threat that just wins every combat, basically. Gruul Spellbreaker already have Riot, so this is really good with Rhythm of the Wild, actually, to become like a 4/4 trampling haster for 3 mana, which is actually very nice. And the fact that it has hexproof during our turn is also very nice as well, because that restricts our opponents to removal spells only on their own turn when they might want to do other things with their mana. So that's really cool. And then we've added a Klothys, God of Destiny, which becomes turned on pretty well in this deck. We do generate a lot of red and green devotion, and when it does, it's a 4/5 indestructible creature, which is hard to deal with. It's also graveyard hate. It exiles cards from our opponent's graveyard every turn to either add mana or to gain and drain them for 2 each turn, which does accelerate our clock and is really cool in that way. So, of course, we're very heavy on 3-drops. That's why we're running a full playset of Llanowar Elves to help us accelerate into the 3-mana slots. Of course, you want to make sure that in addition to haste, you want the Garruk's Harbinger to have trample. So we've got a couple of ways to enable that. We got one of Audacity, which is like the Pioneer version of Rancor, basically. It's not quite as good as Rancor, but it's decent. It does draw a card when it does replace itself when it goes to the graveyard. And we've got one of Hunter's Talent, which is a card that I really like in decks like this, stompy decks. At its base value, it just is a removal spell. It's like a bite effect, but levels up into a card that does provide trample to our creatures every turn, and eventually into a card that does draw us cards. And then we do want to find our creatures. We're Jund, so we don't have access to a lot of good card draw, but we are playing one of Vivien, Champion of the Wilds, just as a Planeswalker that can -2 to repeatedly look at the top 3 cards of our library, exile a creature from among them, and allow us to play that creature from exile. It also makes it so that we can play our creatures with flash, which is not terribly relevant, but could come up from time to time, and can +2 give a creature we control Vigilance and Reach. Vigilance is actually quite nice for our big creatures. Allows us to combine offense and defense at the same time. And we're Jund, so we've got tons of interaction, of course, to kill and disrupt our opponent's plans. We've got Thoughtseize and Fatal Push, no-brainers for any black deck in Pioneer. These are like the best interaction in the format, pretty much. Bonecrusher Giants can stomp stuff, and we've got a 2 of Assassin's Trophy as sort of catch-all removal that can deal with all kinds of different stuff that you would come across in Pioneer. Total of 20 lands, which is a little bit light, but we are playing the 4 of Llanowar Elves. Our curve does top out at 3. This is a deck where you don't want to flood out. You want to draw threats. So we may have to mulligan a 1 lander or 2, but that is worth it for the upside of having a solid handful of continuous threats that we can play off of and enhance with our Rhythm of the Wild. The sideboard contains a Go Blanket Erebos' Intervention, a Scavenging Ooze, and another Klothys against graveyard decks. A 3rd Assassin's Trophy just for catch-all removal against decks that have, annoying permanents like artifacts and enchantments, that kind of thing. A couple of Damping Spheres come in against Lotus Field and Phoenix decks. A couple of Shaper's Sanctuary can help us draw cards against decks that have a lot of removal. A 1 of Scavenging Ooze, as I already mentioned, is more graveyard hate. 2 Tear Asunders for artifacts and enchantments that can also be kicked to exile any non-land permanent. And we're running the full 3 of Obstinate Baloth. This might be too much, but when I was testing this deck last night, I kept running into Yorion bounce style pixie decks, pixie style decks with Hopeless Nightmare. So I think that this card is actually going to be really good in Pioneer, as good as it is in Standard, where it's fine to play 3 copies. It's also just good in aggro because it is a big body that gains you life when it enters the battlefield as well. So that is nice. I didn't mention the tech we have in our sideboard, which really isn't much. Because we have such crazy color requirements. The only real tech we have is a 1 of Boseiju. That's it. We're a very Verge heavy mana base. I'm sort of playing Verges instead of check lands, which I maybe used to do. So we'll see how well that works out. Hopefully our mana will not let us down too much color-wise. So that is the plan. We're going to combine our Dreadhorde Butchers with Rhythm of the Wild, give all of our creatures haste, draw cards off our Garruk's Harbingers, and just overwhelm our opponent's board with mid-rangey, stompy threats coming at their face hastily. Dreadhorde Butcher, I will say, is a card that has clearly been power crept out of Pioneer viability. I don't think it's really a playable card. If it ever was good, it certainly isn't in 2025 Pioneer, but it would be dishonest of me not to represent this card in my pet deck series, since I have played it a bunch on the channel, as well as Rhythm of the Wild. So we're going to give it the old go. I think the key to having this card work is you got to really commit to it. So you need all 4 copies, because all it takes is 1 of them to get in a couple of attacks, and the card does become quite effective. So if we can get lucky and dodge some fatal pushes, or maybe Thoughtseize them away, get in some attacks with our Dreadhorde Butcher, get a free counter on them with Rhythm of the Wild when they ETB, maybe we can get something done. Anyway, that's the plan. Let's see how we fare in a very extremely sweaty Diamond Tier Pioneer/Explorer meta. If you like off-meta, off-kilter MTG content, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Guima will be our first opponent. We'll be on the draw with our Pioneer Dreadhorde Jun deck, which... Okay, yeah, that's a good hand. We've got our colors. I mean, it's slow. We do have a removal spell, which we don't want to use unless we have to, because we don't want to ramp our opponent, but we'll keep this. I think we'll go grab a mountain turn 1. Uh-oh, is it mono red aggro? That could be bad. Bolt wave. Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. Garruk's Harbinger. Well, my color situation is a little crazy here. The question is, do I grab a forest or do I grab a mountain with this Fabled Passage? I think I'm gonna grab a mountain. I just have a feeling. I definitely have a lot more green sources in my mana base than I do red sources, because we have, double and triple green creatures. Another Garruk's Harbinger. Alright, well... One downside to fetching a mountain there is that we actually have no playable cards now, because we can't cast Assassin's Trophy. Next turn we can drop a 4/4 though. So our opponent turn 1 Bolt Waved us. Boros Charm. Okay, so they're just burn. Llanowar Elves. I think I do actually play a hasty 3/3 here. Start getting in some damage. There's a Swifty. Yeah, it might have been better to hold back the Spellbreaker. I do want to damage them though. See what they get off this light up the stage. Land plus skewer the critics. So they can skewer now. Which I can't imagine that they would not do that. Just skewer my Spellbreaker. Okay. Alright, so it was a mistake to attack with the Spellbreaker. I should have just made a 4/4. And now I think I need to play Llanowar Elves and hope that it survives. Slick shot. Alright. We'll go for Garruk's Harbinger here. Ramanop Ruins. Humano. We don't have any Demolition Fields or Field of Ruins in our deck, so even if we deal with their board, their mana base is going to give us a lot of trouble to deal with. We're supposed to be attacking with big creatures early, but on the draw against Mono Red, it's a little harder, and our sequencing was wrong. Well, I'll block this Swift Spear. Okay. So I can kill the Swifty. And I think just pass. Hold up Assassin's Trophy. Lightning Helix, And Ramanop Ruins, okay. Alright, well, we didn't draw like any Fatal Push or anything, that would have helped. Scavenging Ooze, Obstinate Baloths, Erebos' Intervention. Klothys also can gain us life. I think I want Klothys. Domri. I forgot to mention Domri, who's a piece that I like in decks like this. A repeatable fight effect. Maybe I don't like Thoughtseize quite as much. I'll bring in Duress, number 2. Rhythm of the Wild actually isn't that good here, because we don't really need to attack right away, generally speaking. I cut Audacity. We'll just go down to 1 Thoughtseize, 1 Duress. Yeah, I'm just going to cut the Rhythm of the Wild. It's not good in this matchup. Okay, Glissa Sunslayer is a good spell against them. So how do we sequence this hand? Turn 1, we're going to fetch a swamp. I guess turn 2 play a Stomping Ground, turn 3 start playing 3 drops. We'll keep this. Again, leading on Bolt Wave. Okay. Let's go grab our Swamp. We'll Thoughtseize. Whatever we take is going to be worth more than 2 damage. Kumano, Screaming Nemesis, light up the stage. Screaming Nemesis are annoying. I'll take Kumano because they can actually cast it. Alright, let's play a 4/4 Spellbreaker. Show off. Bolt Wave and Swift Spear. Well, there's a Fatal Push. Let's kill the Slick Shot show off. No attack. I am gonna block Screaming Nemesis. There's a show off. A Bolt Wave. Okay. Skewer. Let's go ahead and bolt, Fatal Push the Swift Spear. Okay. Good to get a Baloth while I still can gain life. Let's attack. Play this Baloth. Gain life. No attack. Alright, let's plus... let's attack with our Spellbreaker. Double block. Gonna hit me. We'll play Glissa. Another Screaming Nemesis. No attack. We'll give Trample to our Baloth. Do I want to draw a card and lose a life? Yes, I can do that once. See what they do with their Nemesis. Kill Glissa? No, just going face. Okay. Let's play a Steel Leaf. Hold on to this Xayators to cycle. I mean, if they have a burn spell in hand and draw another one, then it's game over. Burst Lightning, okay. Otherwise we win. Skewer the critics, alright. That's mono red. Bochadomic will be our second opponent. And we have to mulligan this one lander, unfortunately. Yeah, into a 0 lander. Well, we'll keep this. Bottom. 2 of our 3 drops. Maybe the red ones, because we don't have red mana at the moment. Rakdos is the most popular deck in Pioneer right now. Good old Rakdos. I think we'll Thoughtseize. Well, I mean, you have to take Fable. Yeah, Pioneer is a format that needs some help. There's no support for it. Like, none of the tournaments this season are in Pioneer. Blooming Marsh. So I think I actually need to Thoughtseize Shieldred. Because I have no other way of beating it. But Pioneer has been languishing for a while, and it's about 3 bans from being a really good format, I would say. Alright, we're gonna push this Dreadhorde, this Blood Tithe Harvester, because we're getting low on life. Alright, there's a Karplusan Forest. I think we'll play Garruk's Harbinger, which is hexproof from black. Okay. Well, we know they have the Fatal Push, so there's no point in playing the Butcher. Let's just attack with our Harbinger. Look at the top 4. We'll grab a Gruul Spellbreaker. We'll just play it as a 4/4. I could go fetch a mountain, so that I don't have to pay life for my red cards. I think that's a good idea. Actually, I don't. I want to be able to revolt Fatal Pushes later. I'll just take 1 damage now. Play a 4/4 haste. Or, it's not haste, just a 4/4. Trample, hexproof on my turn. Power word kill. Okay. Alright, well, let's Thoughtseize you. Invoke Despair. Get another Harbinger going. Seems pretty good. Bonecrusher Giant. So they can block one of our Harbingers if they want. I could also make a hasty Spellbreaker. I could make a hasty Spellbreaker. They can block with Bonecrusher. They're gonna block a Harbinger with Bonecrusher Giant for sure. I could also play Dreadhorde Butcher. Sure, let's... play a hasty Spellbreaker. Play a Dreadhorde Butcher. So they just Fatal Push the Butcher, that's fine. Alright, they block a Harbinger, take 7. I get to draw a Steel Leaf Champion. Another Spellbreaker, I think. Okay. So they seem like a particularly removal-heavy version of Rakdos. Definitely wants Shaper's Sanctuary. Maybe Duress. Let's cut Vivian. We'll cut Audacity. I'll cut one of these Bonecrusher Giants. Alright. This hand looks okay. Garruk's Harbinger is good against them. Pretty likely to get Thoughtseize, but we'll see what happens. Drawing another Garruk's Harbinger is nice. Oh, opponent does not have the interaction early. That's good for us. Fable. Of course. There's the question, can you beat Fable? So we'll certainly Fatal Push this. If I had one more mana, I would have absolutely Boseiju'd that. Fable. It's tempting to do it now. I'm just gonna play a Harbinger. Pack in more than your average Rakdos deck's worth of removal. I think we'll just go ahead and kill that. It would have been better to go... No, this is going to come into play tapped, so I wouldn't have had the mana to Domri plus... Okay, let's attack with our Butcher, or our Harbinger, rather. We'll grab a Steel Leaf Champion. Thoughtseize you. Take your Thoughtseize. Opponent scoops. Alright. Well, I never beat Rakdos, but we did today. That's a rare occurrence. KZ Melt is our opponent. Yeah, we're playing against Mythic tier because there aren't enough people who play Explorer. We'll keep this. We do have a turn 2 Dreadhorde Butcher. Duress. Takes our Fatal Push. Alright, opponent's on Abzan. They mulled, I guess, to at least once. Grab our swamp. Alright, send in the butcher. Cash grab. Oh, it's Greasefang. They just pick up a land. There's Greasefang. I think we'll just deploy the butchers. I probably should have held up my mana there. Okay. We'll kill the Greasefang. Yeah, I should have just attacked there. Then I would have been able to play Llanowar Elves plus Fatal Push. Alright, let's attack with the Butcher. Play our Harbinger. Overlord. There's the Parhelion. And there's the Greasefang. So we die now? Yep. I don't think we can beat this. The angels are vigilant too. Yeah, that's Greasefang. So I can Fatal Push one of those angels. Do they have another Parhelion in their graveyard? No. Certainly we'll Fatal Push one of these angels. Let's play Audacity on my Harbinger. They just take it. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. We'll take, I don't know, Klothys? Klothys is a little slow. Could take a Gruul Spellbreaker. I think I'm gonna take a Gruul Spellbreaker. Play our elf. Play a land. Thoughtseizing themselves. Okay. Fun. Go blank. Erebos' intervention. Klothys is actually, it's a little slow against Greasefang. Because it doesn't graveyard hate the turn that it comes down. I think just Tear Asunders. We can exile the Parhelions. I think I want Assassin's Trophy over Fatal Push. Cut Vivian. Oh, that was 61, wasn't it? Or was it 60? There's only 20 lands in the deck, so you really don't want to play 61. Yeah, I can't keep that because I can't cast anything. Alright, I have no black mana here, but I'm gonna keep. We'll bottom the Pain Land. We didn't draw any graveyard hate, which maybe I should have mulliganed for that. I was already on a Multi 6. Can we top deck something? Blooming Marsh. I think I will just deploy a Harbinger. Thundering Broodwagon. Another thing that Greasefang can just pull out of the yard. It can't hit a Harbinger though. Thoughtseize. Takes Hunter's Talents. Raffine's Informants. Okay, so we can Domri.
It's a beautiful day for chaos, isn't it?
The Raffine's Informant is a 3/2. Yeah, I tapped my mana all wrong. I tapped my black mana. Yeah, that's really bad. It's really bad how I tapped my mana. Because I could have played the Butcher and attacked. They most likely would have blocked with their Raffine's Informants. Greasefang!
I'll be back after I've licked my wounds. You'll see.
I don't know. I'll just take this, I guess. That goes back to their hand, right? So they can play it again. Oh, I should have played my Butcher. That was dumb. Another Harbinger. Well, I'll play it now. They can just pull another Thundering. This card is just so ridiculously broken. Your face. Yeah, Pioneer is in a bad place. Well, I'm blocking that. That goes back to their hand. They can almost hard cast it. Let's play Harbinger. Glissa. Hey, Glissa's not bad. Play Glissa. Oh, but we don't have Assassin's Creed mana up now. I should have played the Steel Leaf Champion. So if they cast this, they die. We die. If they attack with both their guys, we die. Yay! Even more pieces for Greasefang. Hooray! Just what every format needs. You have to mulligan for your graveyard hate against that deck, or you will lose because it's a 2-card combo. Yona Cham will be our opponent with their Hugs avatar. One of these days I gotta play Hugs. And our hand looks good, so I'll keep it. I could Llanowar off Copperline Gorge, but then my Wastewood Verge doesn't produce black mana. So I think what I want to do is actually shock here. Alright, so it's mono red once again. So I think we want to get our Dreadhorde Butcher going. Might as well attack if I'm not going to block with my elf. Fatal Push is a good one. So let's go ahead and Fatal Push that. I think we're going to play Spellbreaker as a 4/4. Opponent passes. Alright, let's stomp the Kumano. Go ahead and play Steel Leaf Champion. I guess I could have just played the Bonecrusher and not revealed my hand. Attack. They're gonna chump with the Mutavault. Okay, we do get to put 3 points of damage on their face. There's a Bonecrusher. Let's attack. Hitting for 6. Play our Bonecrusher. And we beat him down. Okay. Mono red again. Erebos' Intervention. Baloths. Assassin's Trophy. I think that's it. We want to replace some number of Thoughtseizes with Duress, not go blank. Cut Vivian. Cut Audacity. Oh yeah, we don't like Rhythm in this matchup, really. So I think I will bring in Scavenging Ooze. Alright, Fatal Push is good. And Steel Leaf Champion is good against them, so I think we're keeping this. Alright, we're just gonna hold up Fatal Push. few mono. Alright, let's play our Verge plus Llanowar Elf. Grease Wrench Goblins. Fatal Push it. Obstinate Baloth. That's a good one. I think we'll just play Baloth. Alright, so they probably have a Stomp or something. I'm gonna take 2. Ember Hearts. Alright, let's attack with our Baloth. Play Zayatoras. Play Steel Leaf Champion. Screaming Nemesis. Okay. Let's kill the Screaming Nemesis. Attack like this. Burst Lightning. And play a tap land and pass. Monstrous Rage. A little Fatal Push in response. They do get to play a card, exile a card that they can play. Witchstalker Frenzy. Opponent scoops. Alright. We can beat Mono Red. Kogayu, the Ambitious, will be our opponent. It's a good hand. We don't have black mana at the moment. We got Rhythm of the Wild and Harbinger and an Elf though. So I'm gonna keep. Let's hope they don't have too much disruption. Savai Triome. Alright, again, not a black source. Fear of missing out. Is this another Greasefang deck? Definitely seems like they're doing some kind of reanimation style stuff. Do I need to Thoughtseize them this turn? I think I'll play Rhythm of the Wild. Yep, it's Greasefang. Such a fun card. Okay. So I think we will play a hasty Harbinger. Let's get Klothys or Glissa. Probably Glissa. If I Thoughtseize, I go down to 7. They can attack for 6. I guess I'm gonna do it. Thoughtseize, Vanishing Verse. I guess I want to take their Thoughtseize. The Vanishing Verse can't kill any of my creatures, so I'll take Thoughtseize. They can just cycle it. Yeah, okay. Such BS. Alright. Greasefang once again. So I guess it's our graveyard stuff. Assassin's Trophy. Klothys. Tear Asunder. Fatal Push isn't that good. Cut one Rhythm of the Wild. Cut a Bonecrusher. Vivian. Audacity. Gotta mull that. This is keepable for sure. I think I bought him Steel Leaf. So we'll have to grab Swamp. We do have Graveyard Hate in his hand, which is great. Copperline. It's Thoughtseize. Path of Peril, Greasefang, Nahiri. I guess Greasefang? Alright, let's play Klothys. Immersturm Raider. Alright, let's exile Greasefang, drain you for 2. Nahiri, we don't have a way of dealing with right now.
Like meteors.
Yep, that can exile Klothys.
I will cut you down.
Well, I guess we'll just go blank. Play another Proving Ground.
answers will hail from the heavens!
Gonna attack with Mutavault. Alright, let's Fatal Push the Mutavault. There's the cheese. I think we're gonna pass. Well, we have to deal with Greasefang, so we might end up using this to kill it.
I herald a torrent of stone!
We didn't get a stop before their combat step, so we're kind of getting screwed here. Yeah, we're totally getting screwed. It should have stopped before the combat step. Because, like, after they milled this Sky Sovereign, obviously I would kill the Greasefang. So, we got screwed. Right? Like, we get priority. After they activate Nahiri, we get priority. So that goes back to their hand. So they now just have the Sky Sovereign in their hand for free. It's BS, man. So do I do Sky Sovereign or Nahiri? I guess I do Nahiri.
A reckoning will come one day.
They should not have that Sky Sovereign in their hand. Liliana.
Those who get in my way tend to don't overthink things.
Garruk's Harbinger, which they can just minus, and yeah, we're dead. Well, the Mythic players we played against were both playing Greasefang, so what does that tell you? Okay, so our final record with Pioneer Dreadhorde Jund was 2-3. We lost against the Mono Red the first time, although game 2 was very close. Our opponent had to top deck a Burn Spell to kill us, or else we would have killed them. And we lost twice to Greasefang, which... I don't know, that deck can just beat anything, right? Like, what are you gonna do? One question is our Graveyard Hate good enough? And I think there's definitely an argument that you could just run 4 Leyline of the Void in the sideboard. I think Leyline of the Void is a good option for a deck like this. Ironically, that doesn't ever want to get up to 4 mana, but also doesn't want to spend its time using its mana on graveyard interaction. You want to just get your creatures down and beat down. So I actually think cutting what we have here, go blank, Erebos' Intervention. Erebos' Intervention probably is not a good choice for Graveyard Hate in this deck because we only have 20 lands, so we're not going to be able to get the X up very high on this. Although I do really like this card, I think it's better in more controlling decks that are playing more lands. So I think a good thing to do would be to swap the Graveyard Hate. We're running for 4 Leyline of the Void. And that would make your match against Greasefang so much better. Although they have the Boseijus, you know, it's still going to be a hard match. Perhaps there is an argument for some sort of like Stone Brain, Necromentia style effect. Probably the Stone Brain would be my choice. Which also could be good against, like, you know, the various combo decks like Lotus Fields. It's good against that. It could be good against Oculus decks. It could be good against Phoenix decks, possibly. So, yeah. Replace Graveyard Hate with Leyline of the Void. Possibly add 1 to 2 Stone Brain or Necromentia type stuff. But actually, I think the deck did better than I thought it would. You know, it's outclassed by the power level of cards that have been designed since this set came out in like 2018, 2019, something like that. But I still do like Dreadhorde Butcher, and when it gets to do its thing, it's really awesome. And we didn't really get to see a huge snowball with Rhythm of the Wild, but this card is so much fun. But like, we got to see how good Garruk's Harbinger is. This card is really, really good because there's so many black decks. You know, the Rakdos deck is the most popular deck in Pioneer right now, and our Rakdos one just could not do anything about the Garruk's Harbinger. So it's a very powerful card that I do really like in combination with Rhythm of the Wild. And that's part of the reason why I like this card so much, is because it makes this card so much better. But anyway, I'll take a 2-3. You know, the first mono red match was close. It's definitely a matchup that we might win. We did win it the second time, and we beat Rakdos Midrange, which is the strongest deck in Pioneer, maybe. So I am pleased with that result overall. With a little tweaking, our matchup against Greasefang could be, and combo could be a lot better. But I don't think this is like a playable deck, really. You know, it's just kind of outclassed by other things that are going on in Pioneer, but it always has a special place in my heart. This Zombie Warrior and this Domri Raid enchantment. Anyway, I enjoyed playing Pioneer Dreadhorde Giant. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did and you like off-meta, off-kilter MTG content, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I do stream MTG on my Twitch channel every Tuesday and Friday. I post MTG on my YouTube channel every Thursday and Saturday, and I stream non-MTG content as well. There's a link to my Twitch channel in the description. So I'll see you later in the week, and hope you have a good night.